What's happening, guys? Coming at you with the reverse diet update. This could actually be my final one. Stay tuned. Question mark? Alright, so this is an update for the last 2 weeks again. I have not been bringing you as frequent of updates now just because things are pretty steady at this point. There's not a whole lot of information to give you. So what I'm probably going to do moving forward, I'm not going to say that I'm just going to completely stop this series, but I think at this point you probably get the gist. If you've been following since the beginning, like you understand at this point how the process works and what we're trying to accomplish here. But I've been in a surplus now, so I've been gaining weight, and that's what we're trying to accomplish now. So I'm not too freaked out about it, although I am gaining a little bit faster than I'd like to. But we do need to be in a surplus to be efficiently building muscle. So the fact that the weight is trending up lately is not really necessarily a terrible thing. But we haven't made any adjustments to my macros since week 17, I believe. So it's been a month, maybe a little over a month since we've made any changes at this point. Things are pretty steady with regards to my calories. With things trending up, we're probably gonna be holding here for a while, so there's probably not gonna be a whole lot of changes in actual macros, so there's probably not much need to do a lot of updates at this point. However, what I will do, and the reason I'm doing this update, is occasionally there could be some changes that happen and some things that are worthy of talking about that I think would be good to bring to you, and that's what this one's kind of about. So one of the things that I have noticed within the last 2 weeks now is my hunger after eating has finally gone away. And so if you've been watching my updates for a while, one of the more repetitive things that I kept talking about was I'm not that hungry, but whenever I eat, I don't want to stop eating. Like I just feel like I'm just ravenous after I eat. So even though my calories were really high and in a good spot, and I wasn't hungry in general, just anytime I ate, it like triggered this response in me to just want to keep eating. I obviously was ignoring that and doing the best I could to continue to stick to my macros because goals, but it was certainly annoying. Within the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that's finally gone away. All right, so I'm not super hungry anymore, which is actually pretty nice, and I'm not so food focused anymore. So 21 weeks into it now, I'd say that happened around between week 19 and 20. So if we think back, I dieted for about 6 months. So that's what, 26 weeks? I think it actually was exactly 26 weeks of dieting if I remember right. And it took about 20 weeks for the hunger and all the signals that come from dieting to finally go away. So one of the things I talked about in the very beginning of this series was a lot of times it seems like whenever you stop dieting, it takes about as long as you dieted to reverse for things to kind of restore to normal. This is showing to be true in my reverse now. 26 weeks of dieting, 20 weeks of not dieting, finally feeling back to normal. And I'm holding a much leaner composition than when I started. So when I started the diet, I was at 190 pounds. Right now I'm sitting around 176-ish, 175, 176. So holding a better body composition, eating more food, even from before I started dieting, and I'm in a good spot both kind of mentally and physiologically, so things are going pretty well. On a personal level with my training, we are switching things up now. I'm getting away from the kind of high volume, high intensity routines that we were doing, and we're now switching and taking about 9 weeks to go through a more intensity meaning more like a percentage of 1 rep max versus like how hard you push it in the gym, and doing a higher weight, kind of lower rep type work, and we're working more in like a strength block at this point and backing off some of the volume, backing off even. I went from 5 days of training per week to 4 days of training per week now, and we're going to focus a little bit more on recovery and kind of actualize some of the progress that we made from before, some of the gains that we made from the previous training blocks, and focus on building up some strength now, and then use that strength that I gain from this block for future training blocks after this, where we get back into the more high intensity, high volume type training stuff. So this kind of goes back to previous videos I've done about why we can't only look at what we do and the results we get from the actual training block that we're performing, because it all kind of works together. So if you've missed that, I'll put it up here somewhere most likely so you can check that out. So I'm enjoying going back to squatting and deadlifting again. I hadn't been doing that for a very long time, so most of the stuff I'm really focusing on just really trying to squeeze hard, focus on really contracting the muscle and controlling the weight. With squats and deadlifts, I'm going back to my roots and I'm powerlifting, and I'm just having fun throwing around some weight right now, and it's actually been a lot of fun. So it's making a big difference in my enjoyment and my training, just because leg days are pretty brutal and not a whole lot of fun in general. So including this, at least for me anyway, including this squatting and deadlifting again gives me a little bit more purpose and makes me enjoy it. I actually look forward to leg day now, whereas before I really didn't. So that's kind of nice. So anyway, things are going pretty well in general. Gaining a little bit faster than I'd like to, but hey, you know, it's going to happen sometimes, and got to just keep trusting the process. So, like I said, I'm not going to be doing this series anymore unless something comes up down the road where I think it's kind of worthy of talking about, and I think it's relevant. So hopefully you appreciated this series. If you liked it and you did not know, I am doing the other series, so I'm going to continue doing the series that I am with my client Vivian, and I'm putting her through a more normal reverse diet, and we're documenting that process, so make sure you're checking that out if you enjoy the reverse diet series. And I thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.
I'm addicted to the love that you're giving. Every minute, every day I've been craving. I don't wanna get you out of my system.